Evening, everyone. I'd like to call this Aston Township Board of Commissioners meeting for Wednesday, October 19, 2022 to order. We all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, before we get started, I'd like to turn it over to Commissioner Higgins for the statement.
Good evening, everybody. I have a statement to read. October 11, 2022 marked the 25th anniversary of the Aston Township Community Center and Library Complex. Over these 25 years, the complex has served as a focal point for the Aston community. What had been the site of the former Greenridge Elementary School and Pendelco Athletic Field was transformed into a beautiful multi-purpose venue for the whole community to use and enjoy. The community center became the envy of many municipalities in Delaware County, complete with a large lobby, public area with a lounge, meeting rooms, a modern kitchen, and space to display historical pictures and artifacts collected over the years by the Historical Society. The new state-of-the-art Aston Public Library found a permanent home where residents could sit and relax, read a book, newspaper, magazine, or learn about a favorite subject. And what would the new community center be without a gymnasium, appropriately called the Rick Owsley Fieldhouse, and a full-size basketball court for use as a multi-purpose sports venue for meetings, luncheons, and other events for residents of all ages. As the story goes, the Board of Commissioners approved a bond issue in 1995 to finance the construction of a new community center and library building. And groundbreaking ceremonies were held the following year on September 4, 1976. And the rest is history. Construction projects such as the community center just don't magically happen. There must be an idea and a vision. And that is exactly what happened. The idea and the vision for the Aston Community Center was a brainchild of former Aston 5th Ward Commissioner James W. McGinn, who served the community for close to 40 years. Jimmy's accomplishments are too many to mention here, but construction of the Aston Township Community Center and Library Complex was one that he was most proud of, as he was the driving force behind making it a reality. Residents have been using the facility daily for 25 years. Because of Jimmy's vision to build a community venue for Aston residents to use and enjoy, and in recognition for nearly 4 decades of service as commissioner, the Board of Commissioners has decided to rename the community center. Henceforth, the name will be the James W. McGinn Community Center and Library. The rededication of the Aston Community Center will be held on Sunday, October 30, 2022 at 6 p.m. Our residents are invited to attend the ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Higgins. All right, moving forward, I need approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of September 21, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Any second questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. I need a approval of the minutes of the special Board of Commissioners meeting on September 13, 2022.
Make a motion.
Second.
Any second questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. I'd like to move on to committee reports. We'll start with Commissioner
Doc. Yeah, I have before me the Treasurer's Report for September 2022. Operating cash and general fund as of September 30th is $4,914,506. Other funds include the TD Bank escrow checking account with a balance of $387,092. The TD Bank ARF fund account with a balance of $916,837. And the TD Bank capital checking account with a balance of $683,409. Total cash balance for the township as of September 30th was $10,604,135. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Commissioner Pendergrass.
Thank you, Commissioner Scott. To the Public Works Report, the Director Activity Report for September 2022. 2020. The following report highlights the main activity of the Public Works Department, Highway, led by the Director of Public Works, Russ Powell. All metal was picked up throughout the township. All township vehicles and Aston PD vehicles were maintained and serviced. All street light issues were reported to non-electric for replacement or repair. All township parks and properties have branches and trash removed by the Highway Department. All small engine repairs were completed in-house by our two quality mechanics. All 811 call sheets were reviewed and applicable streets were parked as per 811 guidelines. The Highway Department reached 2 metal pipes with 35-inch plastic pipes from Coast Avenue. Approximately 100 feet of plastic pipe was used to complete the job. Our sanitation department picked up 51.15 tons of recycling and 540.30 tons of residential waste. 9,120 pounds of metal or recycling was entering a payment of $558.10 and between 6 and 650 100 pounds. A reminder to all residents to dispose of all medical waste properly, as radiation can be found in something as small as a tissue or as a belt plate. Nuclear medicine patients should contact their doctors for more instructions on the proper disposal of medical waste. Please remember that the first full week in metal and appliance week, the bulk trash would no longer exist. Anything that can be burned can be put out on your curb for trash at any time. Please have your trash at the curb by 6 a.m. when you designate trash day. Any questions or complaints, please contact Russ Powell, Director of Public Works, at 610-494-8005. Thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you.
Commissioner Berry is not with us here, but he is on Zoom. We have him up on the wall. Commissioner Berry, you want to do your report?
Yes, President Segal, thank you. This is the police report for October 2022. These incidents occurred in September 2022. Incidents handled 491, accident investigations 36, criminal investigations 42. Clearance rate Part 1 crimes is 24%. Clearance rate for Part 2 crimes is 40%. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Berry. Commissioner Higgins, please.
Thank you. I have the permits and licenses report dated October 17, 2022. The following is report for the permits and licenses issued for the month of September 2022. Beginning balance, $431,452. Total income from building permits and general contractors licenses, $10,223. Total electrical permits and licenses, $1,692. Total plumbing and heating, $2,870. No income from Board of Health licenses. Income from peddlers and vendors permits, $300. No income from commercial maintenance inspections. Income from certificates of occupancy, $2,555. Income from rental licenses, $3,000. Income from street openings, $95. And total revenue collected during the month, $20,735. The total for 2022 is $452,177. And compared to September of 2001, where it was $988,956. Thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner Higgins. Commissioner Bodenberg.
From the library, I have the report. They have wanted to let everyone know that their bingo night is Saturday, October the 22nd, from 6 to 9. The doors are going to open at 4:30, $25 admission, and it's all cash prizes. On Thursday evening, their craft group is going to be meeting again, Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. Bring your craft of choice and work with other crafters at the library. Story times are now available in the library Wednesdays at 10:30 a.m. and infant, youth, toddler time. Thursday at 10:30 a.m. is preschool and older toddler time. And then I have from the Aston seniors, their next meeting is Thursday, October the 27th at 10:30 a.m. at the Aston Community Center. The speaker for the meeting will be on the Red Gables murder. They also wanted to let everybody know they're having a craft fair October the 29th, 9:30 to 3, which is a Saturday, at the Aston Community Center. Tables are available, they're $25, and if you'd like to partake, you can call 610-872-3294. Thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner Bowden. Commissioner McGinn?
Thank you, Commissioner Segal. Two reports today. The first one with the Aston Township Fire Department and Fire Committee report. Just a couple of stats that I'll read off the report and include the rest for the record. Our fire department responded to 43 fire calls this month, and 547 year-to-date, and 179 EMS calls this month, and 1,560 year-to-date. In terms of manpower per incident, continues to be very strong at 9 per incident. That's it for the last piece I'd like to always add is their average time to the scene. It continues to be excellent on EMS incident at 6 minutes and 6 seconds, and on a fire dispatch it's 5 minutes and 31 seconds. My other report tonight is for the new building committee. For some that might recall, we had approved Bernardin as a architectural firm to review the new police station and options we have there, as well as a municipal building. That was approved last month. We've continued to move forward in terms of progress there. Right now, we're in the pre-design analysis phase where Bernardin is, trying to gather information. So some of that includes, sitting down with folks like, for example, our police chief, Dan Ruggieri, and others, just to ascertain and determine what the needs are for a building like that, and doing site visits. And one included recently Haverford Township. While Haverford's a little larger than us in terms of manpower on both the municipal and police side, they have a new building and some similarities in what we're looking to do. So Bernardin continues to do good work as we kind of get started on that long process. And our goal, just for folks to set out, as you know, I think many know, we're leasing space over on New Road, and our target date in terms of having a determination where we go is in October of 2025, which can seem like a long time away, but to undertake something like this, it takes some time. So we have I think a good schedule and a good process in trying to move this forward. So that's it.
Thank you. All right, I'd like to make an announcement from the Aston Township Lions Club. This year, the Aston Lions Club is celebrating their 75th charter anniversary. On November 6th, which is Sunday, they will be having their annual pancake breakfast at the community center. It's a big fundraiser for them. They do a lot for the community, so if you have a chance to go out and support them, there'll be pancakes, orange juice, milk, chocolate milk, coffee, scrambled eggs, sausage, and tater tots. It's still reasonably priced at $10 for adults, $5 for children. Under 12, under 2 is free. So if you have a chance to go out and support the Aston Township Lions Club, please attend the pancake breakfast on the 6th at the community center. Thank you. Moving forward, I need a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Make a motion.
I have a second. Questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. I need a motion to approve the bills and payroll.
Make a motion.
Second.
I have a second. Questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, this time we open up the floor to the public for agenda items only. If you have something about what's on the agenda, you need to step to the podium. Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. Kevin Tinsley, 113 Beatrice Lane. I'm here tonight to express my opposition to the conditional use proposal for the board, because I do not trust the process or the business owner. The land development process has been flawed from the start, and I don't have any reason at this time that it will change. One of the main responsibilities of any elected official, pausing as I did last time, is to protect health, safety, and the quality of life of the people that they represent. Knowing that we know about the proposed business and the owner, I don't believe any of you can say that this is good for the residents of our neighborhood. I want the best for my family, and I want the property value of myself and other neighbors' value to remain stable. This project fails in those two regards from my perspective. If the board does vote to approve the conditional use of the property, then I would be very adamant that the residents who will be affected in business operations, such as myself, the Ruggieris, and the Robertsons, be directly involved in the land development process. I can tell you right now that the plan submitted by Rex Engineer with regard to the stream is insufficient and will be opposed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Agnew, 213 Beaches Lane, 33-year resident of River Estates. I'm here to ask a question about the considerations for conditional use for A&A Enterprises. The ordinance of 1290-02 general standards for conditional use. There are a number of them, and I want to bring your attention to some of them that I have questions about. Hopefully you consider them already before you're going to vote on them this evening. Number one, proposed use is appropriate for the site in question in terms of size, topography, natural features, drainage, sewer disposal, water supply, accessibility and availability of public services, and the adequate provisions to make and protect sensitive environmental areas. Just in that, this is one of 7. Every one of them, I think, should take this out from conditional use, but specifically in number 1, my understanding is the proposed building plan does not contain sewage disposal or water supply. There's a significant amount of wetlands at the bottom of the hill from the proposed building. So I hope that you've already brought that into consideration. The second one is proposed compatible character. So the neighborhood will not interfere or detract from legitimate uses and adjacent properties. And that adequate measures will be provided from building design, site layout, landscaping, operational controls, and minimize any adverse impacts caused by noise, light, glare, odors, smoke, traffic, parking, loading, and signage. So anyone that knows that site and what these people have gone through, I'm a little bit separated. Talk to Mike Ruggieri about what he's had to put up with in terms of noise, pollution, lighting, everything else that goes with that. In addition, if you look at the parking situation, Jim, I don't know if you've seen it, he's had the whole front parking area has been loaded with his equipment. It's been there for months and months and months. So I really call into question whether he has adequate parking or not, wants to where he can put it. The proposed conditional use will serve the best interests of the township, convenience of the community, and public health and safety and welfare. Wow. Put that one on your radar. The proposed promotes orderly development, proper population density, provision of adequate community facility services, which is protection. Proposed is suitable in terms of effect on highway safety and traffic circulation, and access to on-site circulation, parking, and adequate view of anticipated traffic. If anyone on the board knows that area, you can have tractor trailers coming in and out of that parcel, making right and left-hand turns. I mean, Bridgewater Road is already, it's a that traffic to begin with. I can't imagine if you go full bore with this thing, allowing traffic in and out of there like that. Financial hardship should not be considered as best basis for granting conditional use. That's been Rick's number 1 issue surrounding complying with all the ordinances, that it's a financial hardship for him. Take a ride up on 352 and look at the addition he just put on his house. In addition to that, financial hardship should not play into the application for conditional use. That's nothing to do with public safety. That's nothing to do with complying with ordinances. If he doesn't have the financial ability to comply, he shouldn't have bought the property. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Michael Padre, 102 Garden Way. Again, we were at the last meeting, which was over at the New Road address. One of the questions I had was, the proposal was for Rick to have storage and, maintenance of rental equipment, but the abandonment of the tree business. That's my big concern. If you would allow me, I can actually play you a recording that I've made in my backyard, where again, I don't border the property, but I do see it, like almost like a pie shape. So this tree cutting starts at almost like 7 o'clock in the morning on any given day. If you would allow me, I would play it for you so you can see.
You can enter into the minutes. So,
I'm going to, by the approach.
but you just need to get to that right spot.
Okay.
Just make sure the green light's on.
So all that is, you here, it's just tree cutting, tree grinding. Again, I don't border the property, but I see it from my backyard. So this goes on at all hours of the day. So again, one of the questions that I had was, if we grant him to be able to do the equipment sale, it was the abandonment of the tree cutting business. And I think the person who was proposing that said yes, that would no longer be any tree cutting or you know, that kind of a business going on at that property. Because that's obviously a major concern, because the other thing is too, does any other community in this whole town have this kind of noise going on? They don't.
Yeah, they do.
Who?
They do.
Okay,
They do.
well, I'm just proposing.
McLaughlin Way. It's
Okay, well,
it's
then, from what
a
we
cement
have-
grinding business right up against,
For
it's an LI
22
against a
years,
residential.
basically, you know, a serene wooded area has now become this. So, you know, there has been a lot of, I guess you would say, bad feelings, starting out with smoke coming from him burning wood, now with the tree running. So if this is granted, we just hope that, what they said, the abandonment of the tree business. Thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else? I think it's appropriate that, I have a statement on this conditional use that I'd like to read at this time. Tonight, the Aston Township Board of Commissioners intend to vote on the conditional use application of Rick Mamachari and Angan A. Enterprises, LLC, on his property located at 2043 Bridgewater Road for sales, rental, service, storage of trucks, and construction equipment associated with his business. This property is an LI district. This vote only allows the applicant permission for what I just stated. This vote does not guarantee approval for full plans, still not submitted to the township. There are still more steps in the process before final approval is granted. Based on this request, we can assure the following. Before I say that, I understand the smoke, I understand the noise, I live right there. I hear it, I smell it, I'm right there with you. It's his property, and he does have rights as a property owner. There's been 7 years of, I can't say the word, situations. The board has taken over a month and a half to evaluate 7 years of what has happened in there. And we've come up with a list of conditions that he must abide by. They will all be, I don't want to repeat them, they're all going to be read tonight. That these are on record to say that if he does not follow any of these conditions, the approval is discontinued. And there's other statements in there that assure that we've addressed the traffic on Bridgewater. That's a PennDOT issue, and we've covered ourselves with that. The smoke, the noise, and everything else. So, you know, again, it wasn't a quick decision. This was a long, thoughtful process that you'll get to read all the conditions prior to us making the vote. All right? Thank you. All right, so with that being done, the open...
Mr. Segal?
Yes.
One comment, I know there's a lot of people that read the last meeting, but just to stress from a public comment standpoint, there's other folks that are here. This is the time to make your voice heard if you do want to say something.
I just make one additional comment. Jim, you mentioned this condition.
I'm sorry, can you come up here?
So these are your...
Can I have your name again?
Tom Agnew, 213 Patriots Lane. These are the Aston Township conditions from your ordinances.
Yes.
Did you follow all these conditions once per page?
We've
You
addressed
addressed every condition here?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I need to, Kevin Tinsley, 113 Beatrice Lane. I understand you have conditions moving forward. He's been breaking Elbert County court violations for the past 2 years that we spent attorneys for, that we as residents spent time for. However, he is breaking those violations. The township has those pictures, on multiple days, and followed drones for the past 2 years when that court order was issued in 2020. Why is that still not being pursued? So fine, you're going to give new conditions, but he's breaking the current conditions. So how can we have any faith in the Aston Township's going to follow through for the future conditions if they're not letting the current conditions go?
Kev, I don't want to get too much, we've been through this many times. He is allowed to go on his property. He is allowed to cut trees on his property. Okay, that has nothing to do with the court order. The court order, can I finish?
Yeah.
Can I finish? The court order was in violation of him storing his equipment outside of the area that was designated when the first set of plans were going to be made. He went out of that perimeter, and we took him to court, we won. Okay? But he has entitlement as a property owner on that property.
I have Delaware County Court order to show you. He's currently had to evacuate it, and if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Kuska may be chime in. He had to evacuate that .95 acre with the old township manager had to verify. He currently has stored vehicles there. You have multiple days of pictures of them. You have multiple days of 2 years of him using power back there. He's storing vehicles today right now. He's using power and electricity back there today. I'm pretty sure the township does not have any documentation of what they were using related from an electricity perspective, any power. So my question to you, Commissioner Stigall, if there's a fire back there today, who is responsible?
Fire for what? The electric?
Yes.
It's his problem.
It's okay for him that we can all have power wherever we want?
It's not, we had someone go out when the lines were tested, there was no power to that. Okay, we had our code department go out there and address these things. And you know what, I'm trying to come to a conclusion here and address all these needs, and you will hear them in the statement that's going to be made later on.
It's hard for me to have the trust in that
Well,
after 6-7 years.
I understand,
I didn't even find out, Jim, let's be honest, we didn't even know there was a meeting tonight. I don't think any of the residents even knew there was a meeting. Luckily, unless I
If you look
looked at
at
other
your
commissioners.
email, Kevin, I don't want to go back and forth.
Right.
You look at your email last month, I stated that the vote was on the agenda, and I told you we were going to table it to November, okay? That nothing was going to be discussed until this month, okay? I, under certain conditions, cannot discuss any more about what was going to be voted on until tonight.
We're going to agree to disagree, because you could have been a little bit clearer as far as for that. I believe many of the residents that I even know of that I back up to did not know that the commissioners meet in this particular room. That's your due diligence to at least notify the residents that's not going to be where we have the conditional use. So again, I'm not,
All right.
this room is not the usual township meeting, right? If you go on the website, it actually says the old address, sir.
Okay.
Sorry, Jim, I don't want to delay this.
No, that's fine.
I asked you a question.
That's
You
fine.
Consider all the general standards for conditional use. You just made a statement that Rick is allowed to cut down trees on this property. Point number 1, proposed use. Provisions will be made to protect sensitive environmental features such as streams, lakes, wetlands, slopes, and mature trees. You came in despite the neighbors and cut down 60, 70 mature trees just to upset.
I know, Tom, I know.
Jim, I asked you a question, you said, has it all been considered?
Yes.
And you made a statement that he's allowed to cut down his trees. Point
As
number
long
1,
as
he cannot do that.
I addressed this with our professionals, both legal and
Jim, these are
engineering.
your ordinances. I asked you to uphold them.
Okay.
Okay.
I reviewed those.
You obviously didn't read it carefully.
Developed, I asked both the legal and engineer, and was told he can cut trees down as long as the stumps remain. Am I correct?
Well, then he's wrong. He should have read these. He didn't read them.
All right, I'm going to move on to the next item. I'm going to call on Commissioner Higgins to place the meeting in 10-9.
Thank you. I make a motion to place the meeting in Sendai.
Second.
I'll second. All in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Beth?
Thank you, Commissioner Sorrell. Next on the agenda is the conditional use application of Edward Joyce III, a quick seller LLC, to use property located at 1601 Dutton Road, Acton, PA, for truck and equipment sales. The property is located in the LI district. The public notice of tonight's hearing was advertised on October 4th and October 11th, issued in the Daily Times. And I want proof of publication of the advertisement placed in the township's file. The property was also posted and notices mailed to the adjacent property owners. Present tonight is Edward Joyce III, who is the owner, I believe, of Quick Seller LLC. Also present, I believe, is the owner of the property. Is that correct? Okay, great.
Correct.
Okay, at this point, I'd like to invite up Mr. Joyce. And then the owner, if you wouldn't mind coming up as well, only because I just need to put on our record that you, it's my understanding that there's no agreement sale as of yet on the property, is that correct?
I can address that as the agent representing the property.
Okay, like normally we have something in writing from the owner, authenticating consent for this application. Since we don't have that, then I will need the testimony of the owner himself.
Of course.
All right, Mr. Joyce, why don't you, first I need you to be sworn in.
Can you raise your hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is true, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Okay, for the record, can you give us your name and your business address?
Yes, my name is Edward Thomas Joyce III. My business is Quick Seller. Our current address is 10 Industrial Highway, Leicester, Pennsylvania. Zip code 19029.
And why don't you explain to the commissioners the property that you're talking about and your business and what you're planning on doing?
Yes, most definitely. So the property is 1601 Left Mill Road. So limited industrial. Under the guidelines, what we do is I need to approval from you guys so I can run my business from this facility. And what we do is I buy and sell used construction equipment. And trucks.
Could you get yourself closer to the microphone?
Yes.
But this is also being recorded.
Okay. So what I do, I buy and sell used construction equipment such as skid steers, backhoes, forklifts, aerial lifts, and general construction equipment. We sell everything online on our website, equipseller.com. 80% of our sales is online only, and we have limited foot traffic, maybe 4 or 5 customers show up. I can go over the packet with you guys that I left here for you here. Page 1 is about my company here. We're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 4 p.m. We're closed on the weekends and all major holidays as well. I've been in business for 12 years, and I started in 2010 with nothing, and I built it up to what it is today. The reason why we're moving is we're in a large industrial park. It was bought by new owners, and they're going to level the whole industrial park. So I have 2 years to find a new home. And this property just came on the market here. It's 5 minutes from my house, and it's the perfect property for me to run my business here. Our property plans here is I plan on using the warehouse to work on equipment and detail equipment. The outside would be for storage of the heavy equipment. And the front of the property would be for loading and unloading trucks. And then the front of the building also would be for customer parking and employee parking as well. On page 4 would be our property plans for the future here, would be to add extra fencing and some extra bushes to block the street from the view of their equipment. Page 5 here is an aerial map that I made here. It is of the property itself as it is now. If you look in the highlighted section that's red, that's where the truck parking and the unloading and loading of the trucks, which the current resident now is Inland Pools, and that's what they do now in that same position right there. The front of the building would be employee parking and customer parking, and it's the same as it is now with Inland Pools. And the back of the property would be for the heavy equipment parking. There's 3 gravel lots that Endless Pools uses to park containers back there and various equipment. So none of the property will be changing at all, and the building will be staying the same structure as it is now. I provided pictures of the property for you guys. If you guys look at page 6, here's the front of the building. And if you go to page 7, it's a nice aerial view of the building here. You can see the driveway that comes off Left Mill Road. And there's plenty of parking for trucks and trailers. And you can see the loading dock that's up front as well. I listed a bunch of pictures here. So lot 8 is the front and back of the building and the parking lot. If I'm going too fast, it's slow down, guys. So page 9 is the entranceway here, the interior and exterior of the building. Page 10 is going to be an overview shot of the building. You can see the gravel lots where the equipment will be parked as well. That's already there. And there's a lot of property descriptions in here as well, so you can see everything about the property itself. Page 11 is going to be the summary of the property, for the square footage, the acreage. That's already there. Page 12 is the pretty much summary too about taxes and square footage of the building, and a little bit about Aston Township as well. Page 13 will be the blueprints of the building, the top floor and the bottom floor. So here's page 14. This is where it's a little interesting here. So this is an aerial view of Google Maps here, and I guess the major issues, it backs up to the townhomes here, and you can see in the picture there's a mature forest that's been there. It has an excellent blockage from the equipment to the townhouses there. And it's same with on Button Hill where it blocks everything as well. So the building and the property is well hidden from everything. On page 15, I got this from Delaware County access page here. Outlined in red is the outline of the property on Duck Mill Road. And page 16 is the same, it's just a Google Map version of it. So page 17 is going to be everything off public access from Delaware County, pretty much all the tax information, which would be 17 and 17A. And page 18 is pretty much why we're here now. So it is zoned limited industrial district here. When we go to page 19, you can see uses permitted by right, which I'm not on permitted by right. If we go to 20, we go to conditional uses. Letter E would be automotive, truck sales, services, and repairs would be what I am going for here for that. Which I would need your guys' approval equipment so I can run my business on this.
There's no one else.
I'm sorry, you just quoted page 20, line 8.
Yes, line 8. Which I was told, I just went to the zoning for the township, they said, I would need, this is what I would need, conditional use, be voted by you guys, would be letter E. And then just one more picture I left for you guys here. 21 is my property now in Aston, Pennsylvania. You can see my equipment and where my employees park, and that's the outside aerial view. It's a little dark, but it's hard to get it over there. Is there any questions you guys have? Maybe.
I have a few questions. First of all, do you have any extra of those packets?
Yes, I do.
Is the engineer and I need each?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm also going to need the owner to get up and give his name and information, and then I do have some questions.
Okay.
You would like to do it now?
Sure. With Ed?
Yeah.
be up here together.
It'll be great. Could you give your name and address?
My name is James Murdoch. My address is 201 Windermere Avenue. The property is.
I'm sorry, can you spell your last name?
Murdoch, M-U-R-D-O-C-K.
Pardon? Oh, yes, please.
Can you raise your hand?
Yes.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Okay, so you're currently the owner of 1601?
Yes,
Downtown Road?
I'm the owner of Aston Corporation. It was founded by my father. We built the building in '68, purchased it from Chester, and we have a verbal agreement with Ed to purchase this.
Could you talk into the microphone?
I'm sorry. We have Ed and I have a verbal agreement for him to purchase this, and we can put that in.
And that agreement is subject to him getting conditional use approval tonight?
Yes.
Are there any other conditions? And is there a time component to when this agreement needs to take place?
Not by me, but I think Ed is anxious to move.
No, I understand, I just wanted to find, I wanted to find out from you.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to state the obvious, you have, you've given him consent to proceed forward tonight to
Correct.
obtain conditional use.
That's what.
I have no more questions of you, Mr. Murdoch. Commissioners, do you have any questions for Mr. Murdoch?
I just want to first. Not sure what actually.
Oh, no, I haven't even started yet with Mr. Joyce. No, just the owner.
Okay. You have anything for?
Yes, Nancy.
I just have one question, and I know the property very well. How much footage is between your building and the townhomes at Kingston Terrace? What's the footage? I know it's wooded, I know the property. I just need, do you know the footage?
Well, when you say footage, the distance
Yes,
between
yes.
the Kingston townhomes, there's a couple of things happening in between them. But it's probably, I'm gonna say, 250 feet, maybe 300 feet. It's quite far. That aerial map.
It's 2/10 of a mile, roughly.
2/10.
2/10 of a mile, thank you.
Yeah, I have one question.
Yes, please.
I just read in the packet here that you guys will stand until 2023 on this course.
Well, I represent the owner of the building.
It's in here, but I
Our-
want to keep it.
Our tenant is Endless Pool.
Oh, okay.
Which happened to be the company that I founded, and sold that business back in 2015 to Masco. And Masco opted not to renew their lease. However, they have said, well, we'd like to stay for another year.
That's what I just read.
So, yes, and that's going to be decided by Ed whether he wants to do that. So,
Thank you.
but they have a number of facilities in the Delaware Valley, one up on Milton Drive here, and then I forget what the other one is.
Okay.
Just one quick question for you. I know you sold the business, do you have any idea how many employees on this site?
On that site, probably, I'm gonna say now about 60.
Okay.
We maxed out at about 90 or 100 at that site. That was all manufacturing before until 2004 when we moved and added another building up there. So now it's really just, it's R&D.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Joyce,
No.
sorry.
We were questioning the property. Okay. Go ahead.
So the current property is, so the property is 3.5 acres, I believe,
Correct.
from the information. And the existing building warehouse is 23,400 square feet.
That is correct.
And it's your intention to use that warehouse for repairs? Is that correct?
Repairs and detailing.
Do you anticipate any structural changes to the building?
The building is staying exactly the same.
Do you anticipate needing any sort of land development or building permits in order to get started with your business?
I can never see what the future holds, but as of now, I do not plan on changing the property at all.
Okay, so other than the normal certificate of occupancy, you're
Correct.
not. What are your hours of operation going to be?
So on 7:30 to 4 o'clock, Monday through Friday, we're closed on weekends.
Closed on weekends?
Yes.
And the equipment, your you're buying and selling and servicing large pieces of construction equipment, is that correct?
Not large, a lot of maybe excavators, skid steers, a lot of smaller stuff. We don't service it, we buy and sell it online.
Where will all that be stored?
In the back, mark on page 5 of the packet there, you can see I highlighted everything in page 5. There's already 3 gravel lots back there that we would store the equipment on, and some on that paved area as well.
Can you give me or the commissioners an idea of how much noise is expected during the day?
There's not much noise at all. If a piece of equipment comes in, we all put it from the truck. Our guys take a video of it, about 2 minutes, and then it gets parked. And then the next time it gets started is when it's sold. So it might sit for a year before it sells, it might sit for a week, and then you put it back in the truck.
How many employees do you have?
I have 15 right now.
And is there sufficient on-site parking for your employees?
For this location, or?
Yeah.
Yes, there is plenty of parking in the front of the building right there for our employees.
Do you buy and sell mulches, like mulching machines?
I do not know.
Will there be any mulching or grinding of any material on the property?
No, we don't operate the equipment or use it anyway.
Would you be agreeable to accept the condition of approval that you agree not to do any grinding or processing of any material, whether it's trees, mulch?
Correct, yes, it will.
Is your business open to the public?
Yes, it is.
Those same hours that you said before?
Correct. But I mean, we probably had about 4 or 5 customers that show up in a week, but everything is sold online for 80% of the time, so, which is nice, so.
Mr. Joyce, do you believe that this proposed use is appropriate for the site in question?
Say that again?
Do you think this proposed use is appropriate for the Coleman neighborhood?
Yes, I would say so.
And are you familiar with what the other businesses are in that area?
I own a rigging machine moving business too. I own a rigging machine removing business too, and I work with a bunch of machine shops in this area, and a lot of electric tool and a lot of other companies in this area. So it's very familiar with a lot of businesses.
And the businesses that are adjacent or within the vicinity of this property, 1601 Dutton Mill, what are those businesses like? And are they similar to what you're doing?
There's another guy who's right down the street there who does hydraulic repair that we do a lot of work for. There's really other businesses in the area on that street right there, but there's not much right there.
Do you believe that this business proposed to use will adversely affect the township's ability to provide fire or police service? Do you think this is going to adversely affect?
Yes, that would say.
I think those are the questions I have, but I do know the commissioners do have questions.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Joyce, I have a few questions. I have 3. First, it says here you have 980 feet of creek frontage, correct?
Correct, yes.
I'm a little concerned if you're talking about used equipment, about possible spills of diesel or hydraulic fluid in the creek.
Okay. I mean, I have spill kits where we're at now. If anything does happen, my guys clean the right up. It's cleaned up in 5 minutes. I got mechanics on site that make sure nothing's leaking, everything's right on site. I don't buy order equipment. Everything I buy is roughly 2015 or newer. So we really don't run into these issues.
Okay, well, we did have a spill in the creek about 2 years ago, gasoline spill in Brookhaven, so I'm very concerned about that.
Yeah.
Number 2, are you aware the Chester Creek Trail is looking to expand? I believe there's an easement for that property.
I'm not aware of that.
Okay, yeah, because I'm looking at my recollection that Chester Creek Trail is going to cut through the area very quickly. So you have heavy equipment parking in line. You guys remember the same thing? Okay. So are you aware of that? You're not aware of that?
I'm not aware of that.
Okay. I'd just be concerned if hikers or trail goers.
Would it be on the property itself, or is it?
Sorry.
Adjacent to the property, it's not on.
It's adjacent to the property. Okay, never mind.
Okay, it's not going through that.
All right. And I'm also concerned about the trucks pulling into it. I know that property location, you have a blind spot there, Bucknell Road.
Correct, yes.
That's always a dangerous location. I know the Chester Creek Trail always had concerns with that too. So,
Yeah.
do you have any mitigation plans for that?
Right now, they have a loading dock there, they accept 53-foot box trucks there as of now, so nothing's changing. as what they do now for the last 20+ years.
Okay, all right, thank you, that's all I had.
Commissioner Dockery touched on my one concern was the creek there, about with your own gravel and
Yep.
stuff like that. So you address that issue. Do you plan on expanding the current lot?
I do not, but I can't, I can't predict the future either, how far we grow.
That's all I have, Commissioner.
Thank you. There's so much information in the your attachments, everything to digest in this short time. I'll have
Yes.
to be trying offline. But the Chester Creek Trail proposed, Commissioner Dockery already covered it. I think that's something even if it's below your property or whatever, I think it's something you should get a handle on. Okay. The president of the Chester Creek Trail is sitting in the audience, and I don't know if he's going to have something to say or not. Maybe he can clarify. But you could also get information from the county on that through the planning, Delaware County Planning Department.
Okay.
It's Chester Creek Trail Phase 2, and it's the part that goes through Aston Township. Okay. So that could be a busy. The trail comes out. I don't know if you can tell. The trail comes out right almost opposite where your entrance is across the road.
Oh, right, okay.
Okay, and there was a rail line there, Conrail had line.
I did see that, still track.
Yeah, you can see, yeah. So I think you should probably get a handle on that. Do you have any plans, would you be, you have an upstairs and a downstairs, I didn't realize that. What are you gonna use the downstairs for, besides, I'm sure you're gonna have your office there and so forth. What would you be using the rest of that space? It's pretty big.
Yeah, so right now, I have 20,000 square foot warehouse right now, and there's not much around here to find another owner. So I gotta downsize a lot here for the inside stuff, but I also run 3 businesses out of my other warehouse. But in 1 year, it's just a bookseller here. The second floor, I would have to remove some of it. The original specs of this building was a 13,000 square foot warehouse. They added a second floor, which I don't need a full second floor, but we would need some for the offices.
Did I hear you right saying you don't do maintenance on the
Correct.
equipment there?
Yeah, we might change a starter, a tire, a battery.
So it could run?
Correct, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, and that would be done probably inside, or?
Yes, right inside the warehouse, correct.
Okay. Do you have any plans to lease out any of the building to another company besides your own, what you already have?
I don't, but Endless Pools is there right now, and I still have a 2-year lease on my building,
Right.
so it would work out if they stay there for an additional year until I moved in.
Right.
Like that, I would be the sole owner.
Yeah.
And I live 5 minutes from it.
Yeah, I meant like, I didn't mean the way you have your company set up and so forth on your, on your balance sheet, but I meant on an outside company has nothing to do with you, would you be leasing a space there?
Yeah, this would be I have the guidance over here.
Okay. So you answered my concern. That's all I have for now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Good.
I have a couple of questions.
Yeah.
First of all, the rails to trails has not been approved.
I
It's
understand.
only proposed.
Understand.
So before we go telling this man that way, he needs to understand, it has not been approved. That's number one. So if you want to investigate it, just investigate it with the thought that it has not been approved by this board at this time.
Okay.
Number two, I'm not familiar with your business. But when I go to buy a car, you go and you start the car and you let it run. And so when these people come to buy this equipment, because they ordered it online or wherever, are you going to be starting the equipment, letting it run for how long? Are they going to be able to take it off the lot, drive it, do whatever they have to do? I don't understand.
Yeah,
it.
so if a customer shows up, they'll just drive, they'll usually drive in a circle, comes back, operate as a bucket up and down. A lot of I sell equipment all over the world, so a lot of them never come to our facility. I do pictures and videos of each equipment with condition reports, and they buy it right from there. And I've been dealing with a lot of my clients for the last 10 years, so they trust me. You always get a good piece of equipment.
But if they're driving the equipment and they're backing up, are they gonna, in all equipment, and you're gonna hear that beep, 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 beep? Is that what-
All equipment. Every once in a while, you might get that beep, beep, beep.
So that's the rule.
I would say the customer drives a piece of equipment, it may be 5 or 10 minutes, and that's it. And I might have 4 customers a week that show up and actually drive the equipment.
So it's 7 o'clock in the morning.
7:30.
7:30, pardon me. At 7:30 in the morning, if a customer comes to pick up a piece of equipment.
Yep.
And wants to drive it, they can drive it, this beep, beep, beep is going to go on, and the residents that live by there could possibly hear it.
Yeah, I don't let customers on our property until like 8 o'clock, we don't load trucks at 8 o'clock.
Well, that.
So that's another,
Thank you.
I'll let my guys get in there, get the coffee, and then we get going.
That's all I have.
And I can work with the residents too, if, you know what I mean, they wanna sleep in, I can work with them as well,
Good.
so.
Thanks. Just a couple questions.
Yeah.
So I think you already addressed this, but just to be clear, Atlas Pools has an existing year left on their lease.
No, they're going in February of 2023,
Okay,
and then they're expressing interest in another year.
okay. But that, as of right now, their lease expires February 2023.
Correct.
And it could extend for,
Correct.
okay. And your intention, kind of that time's up, it sounds like with what you're.
I would love to lease it to them to help cover the mortgage on the place, and I still gotta pay for my other building as well, so this is a scary time for me where I gotta go all in or be out of business, so.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then, you mentioned you had 15 employees?
Yes.
So what type of work do the employees do?
I have guys in detail, I have 4 sales guys, I have girls in the office, I have the marketing team, I have, what else we have here? I got a couple mechanics, a little bit of everything. I mean, I just have-
It's kind of.
Yeah, we're growing so fast, I just hired 3 guys today as well.
Okay.
So, and I have guys just, I mean, trying to hard to explain what they're doing.
So it sounds like it's a-
they multitask is what they do. All my
Yeah.
guys just jump in, it's a team effort, get it done.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a balance of office
Yeah.
employees and folks. who-
I run 3 businesses together, so I have some guys that do, you know, go load machines and do rigging, machinery moving, do warehousing.
Okay.
But we wouldn't be doing all that out of this property. Just
Okay.
any equipment sales.
And your current business is in Tango Township?
Correct, yes, right, that's important there.
Have you had, I'm familiar with the property in terms of the industrial area, I know there's not really much residential there, but.
Correct.
Have you had any fines or penalties or issues?
I
with
never
Tango
have.
Township?
No.
Okay. And then, I know you mentioned the general business hours, but, somebody that's a small business owner, I'm sure you're always working.
Yeah.
So from a site on weekends and holidays, would there be any expectation, would there be any activity?
No,
from a
we're
truck
closed
standpoint?
on.
I'm sorry, can you just wait until you finish?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm a little nervous now.
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so we were closed on all weekends. I work weekends, I travel for auctions to buy equipment, but my guys they don't work the weekends and the business will be shut down. Nobody will be on the property. All week for holidays, we're shut down as well.
Okay. And knowing, kind of having vehicles and things like that, what's your plan in terms of for security for the site?
I would like to have it all fenced off on Duck Mill Road and a security gate as well on the front, and then extra bushes to hide us from the road as well.
Okay. And then, in terms of, talking about bushes, but the trees, so you have a gap in between yourself and the neighbor there with Kingston Terrace.
Correct, yes.
So, is the intention to keep that buffer as is?
Correct. I plan on leaving everything as is. If we do grow, we might take some trees down for a little bit more parking, but there's a large gap from the properties, the townhouses to where my work.
Okay. So a question, I guess, more for Beth or Joe. Knowing the issues that folks raised at another property that kind of buffers residential, is there anything that we would look or consider in a conditional use that would address that or require approval for the township, or would that just be a property owner's right to remove trees in this case?
Well, in this instance, he already has the tree buffer.
And trees up there.
In this instance, he already has the trees as the natural buffer, and it's well in excess of 100-foot setback that's required, so, I'm not really sure what more could be done at this point for this use.
I'm just saying, if in the event that they would expand or grow, Is there anything, not to say that they couldn't, but any opportunity to review or approve that?
Yeah, I have a number of issues that I want to put on the record after you're done, and that's going to be one of them, so.
Okay, all right, well, I'll defer to you, Joe. And I think that's it for me. Thank you. Bill?
Yes.
Just for my clarification, there's a docking area there and a loading dock area. And then you said something about 50 box cars that come and unload and load. Did I misinterpret that?
I think you did, right now, I've got 4 tractor trailers showing my property today. I don't know what Endless Pools has, but they can fit 53-foot box vans, and they have tractor trailers that swing to that property, throughout, the process.
Okay, so it's basically for endless pools, not for your business.
Correct, I'm not in there yet, but that's what that front parking lot's designed for.
Okay, thanks.
So I'm going to bring up a couple things here that I mostly want to get on the record, right? And then I'm going to ask a few questions. So the first thing is you mentioned that you're going to put all your equipment on the existing asphalt and/or gravel area. But then I just heard you say that you might cut down trees to expand those areas.
Well, if you look on
No,
page,
well, let's back up for a second.
Yeah.
So in the things that I'm going to talk about, I want to make sure the understanding tonight, you're getting additional use on the property. But there are other steps that you'll have to go through
Yeah.
with the township to actually use the property.
okay.
Okay? Right, so point in question, if you're going to cut down trees to expand parking, you can't do that because of this hearing tonight. That would be subject of another meeting down the road where you have to request those kind of things from the township.
Understand.
Okay? The second point is that are you going to add any lighting?
As of no.
As of now, no.
Yes.
Okay. Again, if you intend to add lighting, that would be something you have to come back to the township.
Okay.
Are you aware that a portion of the property is within the floodplain? Mr. Doctor brought that up earlier, but are you aware that a portion of the property is within the floodplain? And then there are restrictions to what you can or cannot do in the floodplain. And there are DEP requirements for, as Mr. Doctor brought, the storage of equipment, the spills, all of those things are not only regulated by the township, but they're regulated by DEP.
Okay. Is there a way to get a map of the floodplain or is that?
Yes, you can get those maps from FEMA,
Okay.
and they're also on the township website.
Okay.
Are you going to make any interior, I know you said you're not going to add any additions to the building, but you're going to make some interior alterations to the building.
That is correct.
All right, so again, that's subject to building permits and those type of things, and because your use is different than the endless pool use, for example, having equipment inside the building, that's you're going to be subject to other regulations that the VCO will have to look at, because that equipment is now in the building. Okay? I heard you say that you want to put up fence and gates.
Correct.
For security.
Yes.
Again, something that you're not getting that approval tonight, but that would be subject of future approvals to the township, because there are regulations for height of fence in front yards, those type of things. And then lastly, you are changing the use of the property, and in the change of the use of the property, I want to make you aware that you will have to also approach PennDOT for a PennDOT permit, because your use is different than the endless pools use. So you will have to approach PennDOT. Again, that's not something the township, but I want to go on the record that you will need to get a PennDOT permit to change use of the property. So, okay?
Can I have a question for you though?
Sure.
I see I need all these additional approvals here. If you guys approve me moving my business, operating on that, I would still need all these additional.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to make sure you're aware of, is that tonight you're here for conditional use.
Yeah.
Because to put the use that you want to put on the property, and the solicitor is probably more apt than, but the use requires you to go through this conditional use property approval. Once you're through that, then you have the use, you have the right, assuming the board votes for it, you have the right to put that use on the property, but then you're subject to all the other rules and regulations of the township, all these other things that you want to do.
So I have to come back.
And yeah, some of those are not.
Yeah, so not necessarily in front of this board, those would be in front of the different, the VCO, for
the township. Okay, and would you guys work with me on that and put me in the right direction? Because I'm not the biggest person. And this is so nerve-wracking. It could put me out of business and I could lose everything, or just, I'm so nervous about, I'm gonna do everything correctly is what I'm gonna do.
No, understood. So assuming that the board decides at some point to grant your conditional use, then you would need to go show up to the township building, and then they can walk you through what, as of, 6 months or a year from now, when you want to actually be up and running.
Yeah.
What are your intentions then? And then you could need permission from BCO to check the stability, the structural issues, all that other stuff. The first and foremost thing that I think, other than this board's approval, is your PennDOT permit.
Okay.
So that ingress, egress, the sight line, I forget which commissioner brought that up, that's obviously, that's going to be a PennDOT question. So, and that may take you some time to get. So that would be, at least my personal recommendation, to get started on that. And then the rest is township approval.
Okay, understood.
Is that it? Anyone in the audience have a question? You need to, Ms. Joyce, just step aside. You stay there, because you're going to be answering these questions.
Larry Minkowitz, 3155 Richard Road, president of the Friends of the Chester Creek Branch. I just wanted to ask if you knew that there's a rail line that goes through that property. Are you aware of that?
I did see that, yes.
Okay, and there is a plan on the board. I know it's not approved by the township yet, but there is a plan, I believe, that you've been working with the county.
I've spoken to them.
I'm sorry, if you're gonna talk, can you say, can you please tell me your name?
I'm sorry.
James Murdoch from earlier, and I haven't spoken to them since 2019, but yes, I do remember them speaking about it. My recollection is that the path of that trail was to hug Jutton Mill Road and not follow the path of the original rail road. Because there is a SEPTA easement, because SEPTA took over that Conrail.
That's correct.
And so the proposed path is to the far west, but it's proposed.
I know, yeah, it is proposed. I know that there's plans. There's going to be a meeting on November 3rd. The Aston Township is going to have a meeting about the project at the community center at 7 o'clock about the trail. So I just wanted you to be aware of it, that there's a trail going, not to be smart about, but I just want to let you know that there's a proposed trail. I think they'll be showing the engineering and design of the trail.
Would you go through the property itself, or would be on the?
I don't have the plans in front of me right now, but there are plans already drawn up for the engineering of that. So if you come to the meeting on the 3rd, November 3rd, then you can probably see the plans right there. I also have the plans. No, I don't have the plans in that, but yeah. So just to let you know.
No, I appreciate it.
Okay.
Sure.
Tom Acton, 213 Davis Lane. I just wanted to ask a comment and question to the board. Applaud Mr. Joyce for coming here tonight and going through the vetting process, and I wish him the best of luck in his future endeavors. I have a question for the board. Why didn't we go through the same process with A&S Enterprises and have this public forums to ask questions, to hear it in public? Why was it all done behind closed doors and not in this forum?
Are you asking about his conditional use?
Yes.
We did have a conditional use that the public was invited.
When was that?
13th, September 13th.
And a lot of these folks were here.
Yes, we did have the same exact.
vetting process.
I personally dropped off in everyone's mailbox the meeting, the application, and the map for that.
Okay. So the owner was here.
The owner was not.
The owner was not here, so he wasn't. So he wasn't
His-
like this gentleman was on the road.
No. His engineer was here, Nick Cirilli.
Okay.
So Nick was
why
on.
was the owner on the road?
Pardon me?
Why was the owner on the road?
Right here?
Yes, Mr. Murdoch.
He's making testimony as a property owner in response to the purchase of the property.
There's
We
no
wanna get that
no requirement that the owner has to be at one of those units. No requirement.
Yeah, so Mr. Nick Cirilli represented Rick at that meeting.
Okay, thank you.
On the 13th. Yeah, just come to the podium here.
My name is Margie Solkowski,
Spell your last name?
SCALKOWSKI. Mr. George, I would just like clarification for the number of.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Please speak to the microphone.
It's awkward because your back's to him, but
Yeah.
for her to hear, right here, yes, we hear.
I would just like better clarity on the number of how he is going to move his equipment when he sells it, and when he receives it and when he sells it. How many tractor trailers, what's the activity of tractor trailers on Dunhill Road on that blind curve, it's a very bad curve.
So at the
You come back to the podium. Thank you.
most days we had 0 trucks, at the most we have up to 4 per day. Usually it's 1 or 2 of that nature. And sometimes it's a pickup truck with a trailer and pickup skid steer.
So it's not a tractor trailer filled with $20 load.
Sometimes there is tractor trailers there about 48 foot, and a couple of skid steers and forklifts.
Are you saying any pool has that activity as well?
Correct. I don't know how many trucks they have per day, but that's what they're designed to accept tractor trailers there.
So it's not gonna be a.
No, we're not gonna have 100 trucks per every day. Most days it's 0.
Jeff Kirkell, 60 Kingston Terrace,
Spell your last name?
Kirkell. Just to follow up on 2 things. One, I think you mentioned there's 0.2 of a mile between the facility and the townhouses, and that there are quote unquote plenty of trees. Anyone who knows that there is a power line and a right of way through it, and so Pico constantly chops them down. We lost a tremendous amount of our tree blockage probably a couple years ago. They're not coming back, obviously. Also, Endless Pools in their lot has shipping containers for the most part, and that's it. They're static. They don't bother anyone. They don't move. They're obviously used for storing equipment, but nothing else. Also, for the majority of the last number of years, there's not tractor trailers going out of there. There are, at the most, dually pickup trucks with trailers, which are manageable out on Duck Mill Road at whatever frequency. If there are actual semi-tractor trailers going out of there, in there, it's going to be extremely dangerous for a lot of people. And I have major concerns about that. Knowing how many accidents happen at the bottom of that hill on a probably frequent basis.
That's a PennDOT issue.
No, I understood, but it's also a residents' issue because when there's accidents, everyone at the top of the hill is basically stuck and we have to find other ways around it. So I know it's not up for debate with the township, but it is an issue that, getting in and out of Aston, that's one of the major ways in and out. Thanks.
There seems to be a difference of opinion on the tractor trailers or semis.
Yeah.
So, Mr. George, maybe you could clarify. You had mentioned that you had some tractor trailer stuff in this down.
Some of the time,
So,
yeah, some of the times it's a dually pickup truck with a 20-foot trailer, pickup skids here, but other times there is a 48-foot trailer that will come through there with multiple pieces of equipment on as well.
that could be bringing in
or coming out at all.
Going out to your client.
Yes. So, and sometimes most of the days, if 0 truck would show up, every once in a while, 1 or 2, and at the most, just 1.
So if you're taking a skid steer out with a township has them, so I know they're small enough to put on one of these pickup truck trailers that landscapers haven't taken out of.
Correct, 90% of the time, that's.
Yeah, so now, what would be the biggest piece? Would it be a backhoe or an excavator maybe?
Sometimes excavators, sometimes forklifts, and then we're just, throwing one 48-foot trailer.
Okay.
Tom Agnew, 213 Beatrice Lane. Jim, your last comment about the David PennDOT issue is not accurate. Your own general standard conditional use, item number 6, the proposed use is suitable in terms of effect on the highway.
Can you speak up?
Tom, I can't hear you.
Speak up, please.
Can you slow down and read, please?
Sure. How sorry? So Jim, general standard for conditional use, item number 6. The proposed use is suitable in terms of effect on highway and safety and traffic circulation, and that access, on-site circulation, parking, adequate in view of anticipated traffic. It's not a PennDOT issue. It's a township ordinance.
I'm sorry, Joe, can you just repeat what you just said because of the change of use?
Yeah, if he got conditional use approval this evening, or whenever the board votes, if he gets conditional use approval, as I said earlier, he still has to approach PennDOT for the ingress and egress into the property. PennDOT can have all types of conditions on that. So one of the conditions of the conditional use would be PennDOT approval.
PennDOT is a separate entity from the ordinances for Aston Township. These are your ordinances that were voted upon by the commissioners and adopted. Number 6, you have to make sure that the public safety of Aston Township, people who travel through the township, are considered for the use of that occupancy.
I understand
Number
that, Tom.
6.
No, I understand that. And again, we're going to address that issue.
No, Jim, you can go off of it if it's PennDOT's issue. It's
No,
not
but I'm
PennDOT's
saying, Tom,
It's your
it's,
issue. Same thing with Bridgewater Road. It's that track over there. When you.
I don't, Tom, I go in and out of there every
So
day
do I,
with
Jim.
you.
So does my family.
Okay? So my daughter, everybody, my granddaughter, Tom, I understand that. I'm trying to do what I have to legally to address the situation.
This
It's
is the
more than
legal-
that,
this is-
Tom.
I'm sorry?
It's more than that.
No, it is not. It's exactly this. This is what you were elected to do.
I-
We elected you to uphold the ordinances. We expect you to do it.
And I'm giving it my best effort. Not good enough. All right, apparently not. You want to step up and finish, please?
Yeah. Is there any more questions from?
You want to wrap this up?
Sure.
Okay, do you have any other evidence that you'd like to submit or any other comments you'd like to add?
I showed you guys everything. The biggest thing is I'm on a time crunch. There's no industrial property or commercial property out there. And my lease is ending up with 20 other businesses. We're all losing our earnings here. Yeah, time is essential for me right here to find a new home here. So I don't know how long it takes to get their approval, but I'll work with you guys in any way possible to get the process rolling here. So I can get to the next steps and thank God. Everything else is essentially there.
Okay, thank you. Mike, phone you taking these notes.
Mike, can I see that? I don't think we want to do that.
On July 9th, 2020, there was a court order. This court order was decided by Judge Eckel. It was that at that time, that business owner had 45 days to secure a lease. And it also had, in that time, it had to remove all the equipment onto, and I'll call folks, like the new property. I'm sorry, I just, Kevin says.
Kevin, is this related to this matter?
What's that? I don't know, it's inside right now.
Yeah, right. It's gotta be this matter.
Yeah, we're trying to finish up this conditional use.
Yeah, for disrespect.
All right, yeah, I just buy this.
Yeah.
Okay, Mike.
You should be accepting that.
She had an opportunity. Yeah.
My name is Marco Ani. I go to put the opportunity was for questions.
So,
I can't hear you.
Pardon me, I thought the opportunity was for questions and comments.
Your name again, like?
MKU, ALI, 3 tickets and tires. MKU, ALI.
Yeah, I think she got it. Go ahead.
Somebody else put your name. Just want to correct it. Got it? Thank you. I don't mind coming in late because I told the comment that our session was for questions, not comments. I have a comment and I have a concern. But first of all, let's start with the good news. The good news is business is coming to Aston. That's good news. But the bad news is we residents of Kingston Terrace, as the board will know, we are in a blocked area. There is no exit for Kingston Terrace. And as my neighbor has expressed, there are a lot of accidents lately on that road between Kingston Terrace and Kingston School. There have been several accidents, and we all know those who pass through that road, there is no shoulder there. It's a very narrow winding corner with no shoulder whatsoever. Even people don't walk because it's afraid. And imagine if there's an accident and trucks coming in, no other car will go through, and us residents of Kingston Terrace will be blocked in. It's a firehouse. As the board, as someone else has mentioned, you're here to protect us as the citizens, as the people of Aston. At the same place where there are a lot of accidents, it's where the school bus stops. 7:30 where they open a business, the school bus stops exactly at that space. I believe it's less than the distance you provide, Mr. Commissioner, Vice President. It's such a narrow, short distance, and the school bus is stopping there before 7:30, around 7:30 to 8 a.m., and the evening is the same problem. With trucks coming in and going, there's no shoulder, there are kids coming around. I don't think that is what we want for the residents of Kingston Terrace. In addition to that, the demographic of the residents of Kingston Terrace really vary. We have young children, as I said, who go to school, and we have senior citizens who stay in and don't go anywhere. Having a business like what is being proposed for conditional approval, it's really noisy, I believe, as we had when Nancy was speaking. It's noisy with the trucks coming in and out, and we have respectable older citizens who stay in Kingston Terrace and don't go anywhere during the day. So as a board, we need to look at our interests as the residents to make sure that we have meaningful health quality of life. As I said, the road is narrow, the trucks come there. Right now, endless food is very quiet. We don't hear anything from them. Nothing really exists there. When we see regular cars, but we don't see any trucks coming and going. There's no big separation. The trees get cut down. So for this conditional approval, we should not approve it. We all see the increased traffic that comes through there. And the trucks, I don't even know how they're going to be able to make the time. And I know it's a painful issue maybe for expanding the roads, I don't know. But there is not enough room or space or roads for trucks to turn in and out without blocking the residents of Kingston Terrace and others using that domain road to go through that. So until probably, I don't know when, the road can expand to 2 additional lanes, then it will make sense to have trucks coming in and out as a day-to-day business. I have something else. I was taking notes while everybody was speaking, but this if I don't forget anything else. Yeah, just to repeat, the conditional approval should not be allowed. It's not functional because the roads are very narrow, very windy. It's not safe for anyone. School, kids, and the hours of business is where the residents are mostly active in that area. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Yes, I have a couple questions.
Yes, sir.
Couple things. You mentioned that Gut Mill Road is narrow, which, by the way, it's a state highway. So, Joe, maybe you could clarify, Is that meet the requirements of state highway? I don't think.
It is a state highway.
Yeah, so,
There's 2 12-foot travel lanes plus shoulder,
so you're saying that it's very narrow. I don't agree with that, but I guess,
Oh, wait,
I
wait,
respect your opinion,
So it should, I'm sorry, I know you said where to ask. It's, let me rephrase that. It's normal narrow width for everyday use. To have trucks coming in and going, the road is not wide enough. Even for humans. When my kids were younger, they couldn't walk Kingston Terrace going to Parkman. Back in the day, we had Parkman. I'm a resident of Kingston Terrace for many, many years. Born and raised, my kids went through Pendeco and all that. The road is not wide enough for even to have kids to walk down to the creek to go fishing, for example. We worry about them. I know we're going to have trucks coming through there, probably stop at now in the school to make those turns. It's not conducive for that type of traffic for that neighborhood. For us, it's a residential neighborhood. Yes, there's a business down the street and the school, but they don't have that heavy traffic and trucks coming in and going. They will get distracted to traffic, neighborhood, and noise. It's a different use of a different one.
Miss, I do understand what you're saying, but I just want you to understand, and I'm not taking sides, I'm just telling you what's fact. Duck Mill Road is a Pennsylvania state highway. In other words, they control that road, they pave it, okay, they do the inlets and everything. So PennDOT decides that that's going to be a state road, and state roads allow certain types of vehicles to run on them, and one of them is tractor trailers, tank trucks. We can't do anything about that. All right, so that's a fact that we have to deal with as residents of Pennsylvania. That's my first thing. The second thing is, you mentioned about big trucks blocking the residents and so forth. Can you expand on that? I'm a little confused.
I'm imagining the future. Right now, it's easy access recently because there are no trucks turning into the school. In the future, I don't know how many trucks are coming. I think the proposed, the gentleman who wants to move the business said there could be 4 to 5 trucks coming a day.
How many?
I don't know. It's in the minutes somewhere.
I said up to 4 on a very busy day.
Up to 4 on a very day. So that stretch between Kingston Terrace the road, the avenue, coming to the pool, and Ellis Pool, it's a small, short distance. If we have 4 or 5 trucks waiting to turn into Endless Pool, residents of Kingston Terrace are blocked in because we don't have any other egress. We have food to serve. So for you as the board, you're here to support us who as residents understand business is a good thing, but maybe another area, another location, another address, not 1601 that remains you, because first of all, you have to look at our interests as residents. And that type of business, and the school was excellent, that type of business is not ideal for that location.
I'm just trying, that's why I asked for clarification. I do respect what you're saying, I just wanted to understand better.
And my one comment would be on traffic in terms of truck stacking and things like that. I mean, that's certainly a violation of kind of the traffic laws that you have on roads like that. And having a local police department, I imagine, can address that, address it swiftly, as opposed to if we were county, didn't have our own police department.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, there are many other rules and regulations, as Mr. I'm going to say this course announcement. He said they're conditional. Once you get this, then that and that. We don't want to get to the approval and then they do this and that and that. Because the business that is being proposed is not ideal for the location it's being proposed for. As the board, your first, I believe, one of your core judiciary duties is to protect the residents of the neighborhood. We are Kingston Terrace residents. And the business you're trying to analyze of what for to come to that area is not ideal for that area. Find them another location within Aston so they can find that. We want the business as community members of Aston, but that's not the right business for that location for this particular time and age of what we do. We need to be considered as valuable citizens. Children, as I say, it's a very intense, fast stuff for kids. Recently we got
the road coming to Windsor Terrace extended somewhat and well demarcated because the school bus comes there several times a day, different school, different grade, whatever. And to have trucks and all that, it's not conducive, it's not the right location for that business. Yes, we want business, but not that business at that location at this time.
Thank you.
Can we close this meeting?
No, I mean, I'll let you make a comment, but that's, you know, go ahead.
Jeffrey, and just to clarify, Mr. Higgins, obviously on the state road, semis do drive through Aston quite frequently. They go down Duffy Mill, they make a left or a right on Concord Road, they turn in the industrial park, which is zoned for it, and they go on to Kennel Road 42. That doesn't mean that the board has to allow them to go into Kingston Terrace, I mean, into Endless Pools, or 1601, because everyone knows they can make the turn from a semi in a single turn onto Concord. It doesn't mean they can actually do it into the Endless Pools parking lot. That was it. I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you. All right, thank you. All right, moving on, old business, line item A, we're going to table the conditional use application of Everett Joyce until the board has a chance to review the documents that were presented to us this evening. Line item B, consider a conditional use application of Rick Mamacari and A&A Enterprises to use property located at 2043 Bridgewater Road, Aston, PA, for sales, rental, and storage of trucks and construction equipment associated with this business. Commissioner Higgins.
Thank you. This is a little bit lengthy, but I'm going to read everything. I move to approve the conditional use application of Rick Mamacari and A&A Enterprises, LLC, to use the property located at 2043 Bridgewater Road, Aston, PA, 19014 for sales, rental, service, and storage of trucks and construction equipment associated with his business, subject to the following conditions. I want to repeat part of that. For the sales, rental, service, and storage of trucks and construction equipment associated with the business. This is not a tree business. This is the list of conditions of approval. Approval from PennDOT for ingress and egress on Bridgewater Road. If PennDOT denies this permit, conditional use request is denied in its entirety. Limit the existing entrance on Judy Way. The existing entrance on Judy Way to automobile ingress only. The existing entrance will have clearly marked signs identifying that the entrance is limited to passenger vehicles only and that no exit for all vehicles. So no vehicles can exit onto Judy Way. None. Bridgewater Road driveway. The driveway will be widened to 24 feet. That is a driveway proposed on the lower side of the current building. Driveway will be used for ingress and egress, all vehicles. All vehicles can use it. All truck and equipment to the site, both ingress and regress, will be required to use the Bridgewater Road driveway. The proposed driveway will have clearly marked signs identifying mandatory use for all trucks. The trucks will not be permitted on Judy Way. The proposed auxiliary structure consisting of a 60-foot by 100-foot building shall be located where indicated on the attached plans. And I believe everybody received a copy of the plans previously. The proposed structure will connect electricity from the 400 amp service currently located on the property. Heating of the new structure will be by propane. Propane will heat it. The existing structure on the property shall convert from wood pellets to propane. The idea, I know that's what was causing problems with smell and smoke. The doors to the proposed structure will face northward towards Bridgewater Road. There shall be a 100-foot setback between the southern property line and the side wall of the proposed 60-foot by 100-foot building as required by the ordinance. They're providing 120 feet. The existing vegetation of approximately 15 feet wide by 210 feet along Judy Way, starting at the southerly side of the existing storage yard to the Barone's property line at 115 Dartney Way, is scheduled to be removed. The 15-foot strip will be replanted with a row of Leland cypress, and any existing fence along Judy Way will be repaired. A 3-foot high by 30-foot wide earth berm is planned on the south side of the A&A property, against where the backyards are today. Extend the earth berm from a point on the corner of the retention wall to a point ending at the rear of the Mishi property at 201 Beatrice Lane. The exact termination of the berm to be evaluated for modified berm / fencing subject to the township's request. That's something that will be discussed during the planning commission meeting and the new construction committee meeting. That's where those things get discussed. And everybody's welcome to be there and to comment. I'm sorry to read the numbers. Item 7, plant Leland cypress or similar evergreen vegetation on top of said earth berm as shown on the sketch plan. The installation of a 6-foot high privacy fence is planned on the A&A side of the earth berm and will extend to the rear of the Mishi property at 201 Beatrice Lane. Again, the exact termination of the fence to be reevaluated for modifying berm fencing subject to the township's request. PVC fencing to be installed for the properties along Beatrice Drive. Township will determine the color. Number 8. Number 9. Regarding the existing outside storage area, Regrading of the existing outside storage area may result in a 3-foot more or less high retaining wall up to and along the bottom of the proposed 3-foot high earth berm as shown in the sketch plan. That means that the property will go down when it's regraded. It will lower the building from being on the same level as the residential areas. So roughly a 3-foot high earth berm shown on the sketch plan. The new building and storage area, approximately 60 by 100, shall be enclosed in a 6-foot high chain link fence with green privacy slabs as shown on the sketch plan and as required by ordinance. Outdoor storage requires a fenced-in area. The woods outside of the area enclosed within the 6-foot high fence is to remain undeveloped. That will be down near Mr. Agnew's property and Mrs. Mishi's property, that area. Am I correct? Number 12. Hours of operation Monday through Friday will commence no earlier than 7:30 a.m. and close by 5 p.m. and on Saturday no earlier than 8 a.m. and close at 5 p.m. No flammables will be stored inside the new structure. No flammables will be in that structure. Strict compliance with performance standards as set forth in Chapter 1278 of the Codified Ordinances. Noise, smell, odor, that type of thing. No mulching, wood chipping, grinding, or processing of material of any kind shall be performed on the property other than that which is necessary to clear the property. Okay? So as in the course of this normal business, you cannot be doing grinding and cutting and so forth. That can be done to remove what's there today. The condition shall be recorded on this condition shall be recorded on the land development plans and will run with the property. That means somebody else takes over, same thing. Compliance, number 16, compliance with all applicable building codes and township ordinances. Bless you. Number 17, compliance with testimony provided during the September 13, 2022 conditional use hearing. No equipment may be returned to the property until the berm, fence, and landscaping have been completed. That's something, according to the testimony tonight, that there's a couple trucks there. That has to be handled. No further removal of healthy trees is permitted other than that which is necessary for installation of the berm, fence, and landscaping until issuance of a building permit. To that point, number 19, about no further removal of healthy trees, one of the folks here in the conditional use hearing brought up we have a lot of nice trees there. We'd hate to see them destroyed, so that's why there's been discussion about realigning the berm. So we don't know as we sit here what that's going to be until it can be looked at, okay? Number 20, enforcement costs. Enforcement costs including engineering and attorney's fees for failure to comply with the terms of these conditions will be paid by the property owner. Okay? All of what I just read, including these conditions, even though I digressed a little bit, are part of the motion for approval of the conditional use hearing. So I make a motion.
Second.
I have second. Questions or comments?
Yeah, Jim, I have a couple of questions. And some of these are probably more directed towards that of the solicitor. If this, and these are all kind of assuming there's an approval, but if it's approved, would this trigger a reevaluation from a property tax standpoint for the property?
You mean once his business is up and running?
Yes.
Yes.
And then, Mike went through and read the conditions, the 20 or so of them. So what happens if the owner does not comply with the conditional use agreement, any of the conditions?
So should something like that happen, then we would issue him in a perfect world, we could reach out and resolve the issue. But assuming that citations are issued, then all of the costs associated with pursuing citations and collecting of any judgment would be paid directly by the owner. So my fees, the engineer need to get involved, and so forth.
And what happens if the property is sold?
Well, these conditions are for the use of the property. So if the property is sold and the buyer wants to use the property the exact same method that he is within 6 months after the sale, then yes, he can do the same thing. That new owner is subject to all of these conditions. Okay. If the new property owner wants to deviate in any way, shape, or form, or needs to build a building, then that triggers land development, and then it goes back before you in order to set whatever additional conditions you think are necessary as part of that land development.
Okay. And we've heard from residents tonight at the meeting on the 13th, including the engineer representing the owner. But as a property owner, all of us as property owners in the township have certain rights. So in a situation like this, what are the rights of the property owner in terms of her use of their land?
For Mr. Mamikari?
Yes.
Well, you mean in terms of if this conditional use is granted, what he can do?
Or not?
Well, he can use it for this particular use, or he can use it for any other permitted use under the LI district.
Okay.
And I should add to that if he sells the property, any permitted use under the LI district, any can come in and they can set up shop. Now, will they probably need a bigger building in order to operate most of the LI businesses require a structure bigger than the office that's currently there now? That would trigger land development, that would all come back.
Okay, and some of these certainly know the answer to the question, but I think it's important, right? We have folks watching at home and folks in the audience, so I think it's important to understand some of this. And the last question I think I have is, it might be more for you, Joe, or even Mike to elaborate on. And I know, I think Mike, you discussed it at the last meeting we had, but everybody wasn't there. But, so if this conditional use is approved tonight, this is not, and we went over it a little with the last one, this is not a last step. So I don't know if anybody can kind of do the high-level summary of land use and where it goes from here. Because there's been a lot of questions in terms of, would residents be able to engage? Where do they ask questions? What rights do they have? So I don't know if somebody, Joe, you're probably best at it to kind of
Yeah, I mean, as I stated for Mr. Joyce, all the approval tonight is to set out the conditions for developing the property. His next step is a land development plan brought in front of the board that again would trigger the planning commission, board, residents would have an opportunity to look at this plan. This doesn't give them the right to do anything, just gives them the right, just sets the conditions of the condition.
Right. So just like anything else, all of these different meetings, the agendas would be posted with the opportunity for folks to come and provide public comment throughout the process, right?
Yeah, and if I can also add to that, one of these conditions, which is some of the one we discussed with Mr. Joyce, is PennDOT approval. It is my understanding that Harris already started the process just in case for this PennDOT approval because it's time consuming. And we specifically put in here that if PennDOT does not approve this proposed use, this whole thing is null and void. So I don't think he really wants to put any more money on this unless he gets approval from PennDOT.
Yeah, thank you. So just different questions, just a comment before we vote. But obviously newest to this is newest on the board. So certainly not as a commissioner have familiarity with kind of all of the history here, but I've certainly learned a lot of it through this process at the official meetings and folks reaching out. And it's clear that it's been a challenge process. And one of the things I think that falls on us as a township is, I think we need to, and it's stressed in here, in a situation like this, review, ordinances, and if folks aren't complying, and it's brought to the attention, we have a code department that we just need to, as a township, make sure we address that. I think that's, raised concerns and valid ones for individuals if there's a feeling, and I can't say whether we have or haven't, but there's certainly a feeling that we haven't to do that. I think that's in our duty, and I would hope and encourage our staff and everyone else in this case and others to make sure that we do that, moving forward. And I also just comment that I think it's certainly imperfect in terms of when you have a situation like this. But looking at the vote and the alternatives, it seems to me that the best path is to move forward with this first step, knowing that there'll be other ones there. Because if we do not, some of the biggest concerns that folks have, that would allow that use to continue on the property. Whereas I give a lot of credit to Mike Higgins and Joe Pascuso and Beth and everyone that took the time to kind of go through and evaluate these conditions and try to reasonably put some restrictions that address those concerns. So there's a big process forward, but just for the record, I wanted to provide that background. Thanks, Commissioner Sewell.
Any other comment? All in favor?
Aye.
No.
Aye. So, Mr. DeFeo, can you pull the board?
I sure will. Commissioner Dockery.
Aye.
Commissioner Prendergast.
Aye.
Commissioner Barry.
Aye.
Commissioner Higgins.
Aye.
Commissioner Bowden.
No.
Commissioner McGinn.
Aye.
Commissioner Segal.
I'm abstaining.
Motion carries.
Okay. All right, moving on. Next item, consider resolution approving final land development plans and application for storage. Commissioner Higgins, please.
Thank you. Township of Aston, Delaware County, resolution number 2022-0 126. Preliminary final land development plan approved for McFadden Group Inc. Whereas a preliminary final land development plan has been submitted for McFadden Group Inc. for a parcel of ground located at 3471 Concord Road, Aston, PA. And whereas a formal plan dated June 16, 2022, last revised September 6, 2022, post-construction storm sewer by inlet design, civil engineers, surveyors, and land development consultants, Aston Township file 2022-03A has been presented to the Aston Township Board of Commissioners. Now therefore be resolved as follows: that the Board of Commissioners recommend preliminary/final approval subject to the following: compliance with Benoni Engineers letter of September 28, 2022, compliance with Aston Township Planning Commission comments of September 29, 2022, compliance with Delaware County Planning Commission letter of July 22, 2022, compliance with the Aston Township New Construction Committee comments of October 12, 2022, and compliance with the decision of the Aston Township Zoning Hearing Board on January 25, 2022. Duly adopted this 19th day of October 2022, Township of Aston by James N. Stigall, President, Board of Commissioners, attested to by Kelly Ann Pittman, Township Secretary, in the form of a motion.
I have second. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Line item A under new business, consider a resolution redirecting a grant from the Concord Road redevelopment. Commissioner Booth.
Township of Aston, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, resolution number 2022-127. Be it resolved that on April 21st, 2021, the Township of Aston, Delaware County, accepted a multimodal transportation fund grant of $1,297,048. Thank you. I have a problem reading that number, so I had to write it out for me in English so I could remember how to say that, because my checkbook never had that number. To be used for the Concord Road Congestion Reduction Roundabout Project, which included the construction of a roundabout on Concord Road at Donnelly Avenue and the Community Center driveway. Be it further resolved that since that award, the Township of Aston, Delaware County seeks to redirect the use of the grant funds from that construction of a roundabout to a Concord Road and Donnelly Avenue pedestrian improvement project in the area of Donnelly Avenue. Be it further resolved that the applicant does hereby designate James M. Stigall, President, Board of the Commissioners, and William J. DeFeo III, Township Manager, as the officials to execute all documents and agreements between the Township of Aston, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, and the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation to facilitate and assist in obtaining the requested grant in the form of a motion.
Second. I have second. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Yeah, my comment on this.
Aye.
Sorry, Joe. Yeah. So, just for background, because this is something that took a lot of time, I think this is, I commend, again, our staff on this and others. There's a lot of feedback and negative feedback in terms of the roundabout. The meeting we had at the community center and beyond, there were certainly folks that raised a positive voice as well. But this is something that would have, if we move forward, would have significantly cost the township a lot of money in addition to the grant. And this seems to be a great opportunity to address some of the pedestrian concerns there, do some traffic slowing, but in a way that's certainly more cost efficient and listens to the residents. So, voted on the motion.
Anyone else? Questions or comments?
I just want to say, Jim, that I congratulate the board on hearing the response from some of the commissioners and a lot of the public and taking action to make our community safer in a different way than was originally. So we hear things all the time sometimes they think that we don't hear, but we did hear on this one. So I just want to congratulate the board on that.
Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Line item B, consider a resolution setting the Halloween curfew. Commissioner Rizzo.
Thank you. Township of Aston, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, resolution number 2022-128. Whereas ordinance number 287, further amended, allows the Board of Commissioners to alter the curfew hours on a temporary basis by resolution. And whereas a temporary 9 p.m. curfew at Halloween time has reduced criminal mischief offenses reported over the years. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of the Township of Aston, Delaware County, Pennsylvania does resolve to establish a temporary curfew of 9 p.m. to sunrise for persons under 18 years of age beginning Sunday, October 30th, 2022 through Tuesday, November 1st, 2022. I make this in the form of a motion.
Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Line item C, consider appointment of an interim health officer. Commissioner Brinkley.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Daniel J. Dietrich as the interim health officer.
Second.
I have second. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Ayes have it. All right, I'd like to move on. Escrow releases, Commissioner. Yeah. Commissioner Higgins.
Thank you. Just a brief one tonight. Brief two. Following amount is for engineering fees to be paid to Canoni Associates for the month of October. This is a summary of a number of smaller ones for $3,060.50 in the form of a motion.
Second.
I have second. Questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
The second one, the following amount is for engineering fees to be paid to Cirelli Associates for the month of October, and that's a summary amount of $5,354.25 in the form of a motion.
I have second. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, I'd like to open up the floor to the public. If somebody has anything from the podium, state your name and address.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. I probably be the right forum to ask this. What is the demographic of Aston Township residents?
16,000. It's all on the website.
16,600 roughly.
Okay. About the curfew, again, how do the residents know about the deadline, the curfew time? Because Halloween is around the corner. My kids are all grown, but I'm just thinking about the other countries with young kids, and knowing that COVID has now allegedly gotten better and kids want to get out and about, how would the families know the curfew is 9 p.m.?
It's a good question. I mean, like so much of what we do, an ordinance are passed, there's the awareness if you're listening to meetings or going on the website. I would say this is a standard practice. I'm new here, but we got this for every year we do.
The resolutions are passed beyond being that's 8 years. So it just gets passed every year just as like a preventative way of not having this happen.
Yeah.
Most of them do. Most people do know, but if they don't, they call, they'll ask. Just like we still get calls about asking if we have Halloween, would we do it? And what time we do it, so then we kind of let them know when they call for that as well.
Yeah, I'm just concerned for the kids who are looking forward to this October, and then probably want to go beyond 9 p.m. and I don't want them to be affected negatively in any way. So
Everything still stays the same, it's just they just don't want anybody out under the age of 18 after 9 p.m.
And just remember, it's just that night before Halloween, the mischief night, and Halloween.
okay. What does it take for someone to serve on the board?
For to be a commissioner.
I don't know, any capacity to serve on the board.
So any anybody else can jump in, but for commissioners, we're all elected, so it's by wards. So you have 7 different wards, and you can
You have to
for
fill out a
office.
petition.
Yeah, you have to fill out a petition, you run for office just like any other office. In terms of, there's a bunch of various boards in Aston that we all have appointments to. So if there's things that you're interested in, I encourage you to look at the website, do the whole list, and I think it's pretty organized with various boards, parks and recreation, planning, zoning, and that's just naming a few.
And to participate in those boards, you also have to be elected?
No,
Or you could just
you're
volunteer to
appointed
do
by,
that?
you're appointed by the commissioners.
Okay.
So in your case, Kingston Terrace is the 6th ward, right, Jim?
Correct.
So, Commissioner Segal, we're all your commissioners, but you would vote in the 6th ward. And so for board considerations, I would assume you reach out to you, right, Jim?
Mhm. Let me know what you're interested in, and we'll see if there's an availability at that
Yeah,
board.
that's great. That's why I said the demographic wise, and I don't think we're fully representing our neighborhoods. Thank you.
Anyone else? Commissioner Gottlieb? No comments. Commissioner
No
Gottlieb?
comments.
Commissioner Higgins?
So I heard right is 75th anniversary for the Lions.
Lions, correct.
Okay, so congratulations to the Lions Club, and their breakfast is November 6th. Is that?
I will double check that. Yes.
So it's usually pretty good, it's the standard breakfast, you can go and
Get
support
seconds.
them, that's good. What's that?
You get seconds to.
Oh, yeah, you get
November
seconds.
6th.
I never got seconds, but you get seconds. Not that I need it. The other thing is, just want to remind the residents that the Chester Rail Trail meeting on November the 3rd. Come and learn about the trail and where it's been, where it's going, or where it's proposed to go. And I've used it just once or twice, which I should be using it more. But a lot of folks use the trail, and you can tell because the parking lots, while they're not real big, they're always crowded. At least in nice weather. So come to the meeting and learn and put your 2 cents in. I'm sure Barry Pinkwood sitting back there, he'd love to hear what you have to say. I'm sure Barry will be there too, right? Right. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Bowden?
I just want to remind everybody to vote for election days coming up. If you need to express your opinions, go to the polls. The polls are listed on the website, and I hope everybody will come out and vote. That's it.
Okay. Commissioner McGinn?
Thanks. Thanks for the mention of election day. I was going to mention that. Also, happy Halloween to everyone. Enjoyable day, and it's great to live in a community with so many kids and families participate. And just lastly, speaking of kids, we're shifting from those fall sports to winter sports. So I was trying to give a plug for our local sports organizations, Aston AA, in terms of boys and girls basketball is a big one in the winter, and then we have our CY organizations with St. Joseph's and St. Thomas, and supports a lot of families here, also on the basketball side. That's it for me.
Thank you. Mr. DeFeo?
Just want to remind everybody to be safe on Halloween, and please treat the kids kindly and be safe. Thank you. That's it.
I'm good. I just want to make a quick comment to my neighbors and those that are involved in the situation of this conditional use that we had to vote for tonight. This job is not easy. You're going to make decisions that are going to please people. You're going to make decisions that are going to piss people off. You try to do the best you can. You look at the situation, gather as much information as you can, and you try to make the best decision. I am their neighbor. I live there. I deal with this. I try to do the best I can. And not everyone's going to agree with me. Not everyone's going to disagree with me. But I've been humiliated via publicly to try to do everything I can for those people. And a lot of people don't feel I did, but I thought I did. So again, I tried to do the best I can for my residents. And it's a tough job. People don't realize how tough it is, but it's very difficult. So I'll see what damage is done to my house when I get there.
We're not into the motion of adjournment.